The Beatles spent a week at a hotel in Bournemouth in August 1963 while on their summer tour of the coastal towns. Robert Freeman, a young jazz photographer, spent a few days hanging out with them at Brian Epstein's invitation so he could shoot some photos. Brian contacted George Martin for some suggestions when he called to say he needed a picture for the cover of the second Beatles album. In order to evoke the idea of the Beatles in black, Robert proposed something that was somewhat shaded, something like his jazz-themed black and white photos. Freeman recalls that the next noon, a setup was made in the Palace Hotel's dining room, featuring a maroon velvet curtain as a solid black background and natural light coming in through the large windows. However, Paul McCartney is certain that the session happened in a corridor. McCartney said, "He pulled out 4 chairs and arranged us in a hotel corridor. It was very un-studio-like. The corridor was rather dark, and there was a window at the end, and by using this heavy source of natural light coming from the right, he got that photo." Freeman moved Ringo down a bit so there wouldn't be 4 heads in a row. Ringo was the last member of the group to join and was naturally a little smaller. Freeman didn't intentionally arrange the Beatles in a specific order, but noticed later that they ended up in the reverse order of their grouping on the cover of Please Please Me. Using a 180mm telelens and a highly sensitive film, Freeman captured fine details. One of the most well-known sleeves in rock history was created in less than 30 minutes. Paul said, "He got this moody picture which people think he must have worked at forever and ever in great technical detail. But it was an hour. He sat down, took a couple of rolls, and he had it." Robert was good. "I liked his photography a lot. Although the Beatles were happy with the outcome, they thought it looked like the photos Astrid Kirschherr and Jürgen Vollmer had taken of them in Hamburg in 1960. That was not the case for everybody else." Publicist Tony Barrow for the Beatles wrote in Beatles Monthly that Brian Epstein was very disappointed with the photograph and the Beatles put tremendous pressure on him to support them and take the picture to EMI. The marketing executives at EMI thought that the picture was shockingly humorless. "Where is the fun? Why are they looking so grim? We want to project happy Beatles for happy fans." Also, popular performers just did not use black and white photos like that. They were only used for jazz record covers, whose aesthetic standards were always high. The Beatles won in the end, and the sleeve went on to become another iconic Beatles image. For the second time, the tasks to write the notes on the back cover came to Tony Barrow. The original Capitol album, Meet the Beatles, was released in the United States with the same photo. The US editions, however, were tinted blue. Freeman did not become the official photographer for the Beatles, but during the following 3 years, he did snap numerous pictures of them. Later on, Paul McCartney referred to his shots as some of the best ever taken of the Beatles.